with Mama Coco. Yes, it's a show, you know, that we discuss current affairs, we discuss life and style, and sometimes it's emphasis on style and the way we live and lifestyle. I am the host of the show, and my name is Cora Pantin, and it's always a pleasure for me to come live, to see you guys, to meet you guys, to try to share love with you guys, to teach you guys what's happening around in our beautiful twin island of Trinidad and Tobago. And this evening, it's a special evening again for me and for all of us. Welcome today, Mr. Anthony James, our brother, one who speaks the truth, speaks his mind, speaks what we all need to hear. And without further ado, while you are watching Mama Coco Life and Style, welcome our brother, Anthony James.
Pleasant evening to everyone, and thank you, Mama Coco.
You're welcome.
For giving me the opportunity and giving us the opportunity to share views that are very pertinent to the advancement toward movement of Tobago. Views that can relieve Tobago from the current status of dependency to one where we can be proud of ourselves. We are not politically dependent in the world, but we can be interdependent with other nations of the world, and in particular Trinidad, with whom we have this very long relationship with, that Tobagonians had no say. Not in 1889, not in 1962. Tobagonians did not have any say at all in the way things are constituted and were constituted. So that will be my opening salvo.
Yes. So Mr. James, we did our show. We have done shows twice, and for many reasons, last week's show struck some deep chords with me.
Okay.
I know a lot of people too, because we even had one call-in guest. Tonight we are going to put up the number again for anyone who wishes to speak on your behalf or speak in a way that they have a question. But one of the things that happened last week is the 39 versus 2, or the 2 versus 39. And a lot of people, they were shocked because we never use that analogy. We never see it like that. We never see how powerless Tobago representation is when it comes to formulating our government or have a bill passed, or for Tobago to have a say about how we should be treated and why it's taking so long for the government of Trinidad to understand that we are not being treated well, and they need to listen to Tobago and to give Tobago what Tobago needs in order to be at the same level. We should be side by side. We are islands of the Blue Caribbean Sea, joining with other islands of the Caribbean, which was federated government. We don't have that anymore. The federation not here anymore. We tried CARICOM. I don't know if CARICOM is still alive, because I really don't know what's happening. Tobagonians, we are in the dark. And thank you so much for enlightening us and showing us the error of our ways to tolerate or to stand up against and fight back. So I want to thank you so much for bringing that form of legislation to the open citizens of Tobago. Now, every time I do my show, I always welcome the Spirit of God. Welcome the Spirit of our God Jehovah, whom I serve. But I have a whole other line of people who they are not Christians, but they follow me and they enjoy my shows because I am an all-inclusive person. And I'm here tonight with you. And as I ask Almighty God to continue to chaperone this show, to chaperone us through his paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Brother, you are invited now to play us one of your favorites as we get ready to embark on this third leg or league or leg of your awesome shows.
Yeah, well, we have decided to make this song the theme song. I will begin with the theme song, By Jesus I Love Thee. And those of you who are looking on, you can also join us while we sing this very lovely song of all ages. My Jesus, I love thee. I know for thee on the folly of sin, you know, I resign my precious Redeemer, my Savior, I died if I love my Jesus
is mine.
I love.
Yes, let's go, let's go, let's go. Yes. He first did the loving. Glory to God.
And I love thee, the thorns of thy brow. If ever I love thee,
let's go, let's go. Glory this evening, glory.
I praise thee as long as
brethren, we are here this evening.
And sing.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. Hey.
If
my Jesus now.
Oh, the streets of the science
Yes, sir.
for God. No, he whose words cannot be broken from before.
Just remember, his words can be broken.
Under the rock, it is falling. What can shake thy strong repose?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys didn't recognize that second song, that's the German national anthem. The German national anthem is so powerful, the words are so powerful that not even, we have to understand that not even Jehovah's words should be broken.
Yeah, cannot be broken.
Cannot be broken. His words cannot be broken. And that's the hymn that I learned from a little child, even soon after I was confirmed. And the first day I heard the song, I was working with a German patient, and I started to hum the tune. And she looked at me, she said, "How you know our anthem?" I said, "That's an anthem?" And then she broke it down for me. So then when we had the Olympics, I heard it again and I fell right into it. So this evening when I received that word and I received, you see what I'm saying? His words can be broken. And I asked Brother Anthony, "Do you know this song? It's the German anthem." And he broke a laugh. He said, "That's one of my favorite." And he started to sing the song with words while I was humming the song. So welcome this evening, Brother Anthony. We have a lot of people starting to write already. Mr. Anthony James, welcome back to Mama Coco Life and Style. And we have one person there from Belle Garden. I don't know if you know Joan Phillips. Joan used to live up Canal Street.
Okay.
I don't think you will know Joan.
No,
I think Joan.
There was a Joan up in Canal by Miss Agatha. Is Agatha his name? By Miss Carter. Yeah. Just above the Jubes there. Yeah, there was a
Right.
Joan.
Well, Joan will answer to suit. Well, she's on the church. She said, like I hearing Mr. Newton James singing with his family on Sabbath.
It has to be the same Joan.
Is that to be the Joan? Because she will hear you guys. Yes?
Yeah.
She said yes. Joan Phillips said yes. So thank you, John, for joining us. This is your Belle Garden people. Belle Garden have a lot of stars and very culturally background people.
It's a very talented
Belle Garden. All the Jobs, the James, everybody. Yes. The Byron.
In terms of music.
Music, yes.
From Canal and you had the Fredericks from Top Daniel.
And don't forget the Sylvesters.
And
they used to play guitar.
And also you have the Mr. Taylor, the Taylors.
The Taylors, Augustus Taylor. Augustus Taylor.
Was an excellent banjoist. Yeah.
And you know what? And he was a choir master also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to Mama Coco Life and Style, everyone. Let's get the show going. We are here for an hour and we have to make use of Brother James as much as possible. Yes, Joan is saying rich culture there in Belle Garden. So be it. People have to remember. People have to know. People have to understand. that you are not here because you want to be here so people can hate on you. You are here because you are teaching some things that we wish we had known it before. So, Anthony James, can the relationship between Trinidad and Tobago be legitimately viewed as a democratic establishment? Welcome, our first question.
Yeah, well, just before I answer that question, let me just acknowledge my classmate from Roxborough, Bessiso, 10 Chains to be more exact, and that's Magnus Batiste.
Oh, Magnus.
So yeah, he would have put up a message on the
Yes,
screen.
you say one thing I must say about Anthony is that through the years, he has been consistent on his ideas with regards to Tobago's independence. He's saying blessing to you. Thank you so much, Magnus.
That's my classmate. Yeah.
That's your classmate.
Yeah, that's my classmate. Yes, so
And this is your cousin Anne? Well, Anna to say, Anne Walcott. Yes, I sang in the Belle Garden Village choir with Mr. Taylor as choir master. But Mr. Taylor was my foreman for years.
Okay.
And yes. And then he was the choir master until he became a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
At the end of his days, he became a Jehovah's Witness. I love Augustus Taylor.
Yes.
May his soul rest in peace.
Yes. Yeah, so can the relationship be legitimately or honestly be viewed as a democratic establishment? The answer to that will be no, a resounding no. And as I used to coin it, because the Constitution is saying who wins Trinidad controls Tobago. You follow? So that there's, as we used to say, there's no democracy in the relationship. So we're not just dealing with whether or not there's democracy in Tobago, democracy in Trinidad, or just say in a bland way, democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. But let us examine the relationship. Because if I'm relating to you, there ought to be mutuality in me relating to you, or to anyone for that matter. I must respect your independence, your sovereignty, your right of being, your right to be. And in the relationship between Tobago and Trinidad, because of the way it is structured, there is no democracy in the relationship. And what is instructive there is that when countries come together, when different constituent parts, units come together to form one, it is based on the principle of federalism or partnership. Federalism really is a concept of independent state or partners coming together for the common good. Federalism doesn't compete. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at the United States of America, they are all independent states that have come together so that none rules over the other. They cherish their own sovereignty and the right, and they respect the right of each other. So that's the principle that underpins or guides the relationship among countries. So it's based on that principle of federalism. So what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago, quote unquote, they call it now, instead of United States, instead of respecting the individuality by making it a plural state in terms of the construct, so that in the state you have not United States, you have United States. So in that you're recognizing the individuality and personality of the states. So they have built a federation and they have called it the United States of America, so that each state governs itself.
They have their own money.
Yes, everything. Well, they have their own money, but not necessarily their own currency, because they use the
Yes.
But one state does not interfere with the capacity, you know what I'm saying, of the other state. So one state might be richer than another state, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in a federalism, if one element or unit is weak, because we are partners, we will help you. Because we will not let you go down. And that's the principle of the United States. So you'll find that in the in the Congress, the lower house in America, what you'll find there is that some states are bigger. So they'll have in that lower house more representatives. But in order that people are sufficiently represented, so the bigger states will have more in the lower house in order to make sure that a subset or subsets of people are properly represented. But you see, you can introduce a bill there in the lower house, but it doesn't become law. When it goes to the upper house, each 50 states in America, each state has 2 votes. They have 2 representatives. So it's at the upper house that they form the partnership so that nobody has an advantage. It doesn't matter how big you are. You are a being, you're an entity. And it is that entity you are representing. And that's how the United States have done it. In
Because
Europe,
each state have its own governor.
each state has its own governor. Even cities and all of that with their mayors and so on. But I'm saying, but
So,
in America,
so I want to ask you tonight,
yeah.
because people of my age, we knew when we had county councillors and we had counties, but they move all of these things and give us the Tobago House of Assembly. Do you think we are truly being represented in the Tobago House of Assembly?
No. Tobago will never be properly represented, constituted, governed until Tobago has its own structure. A structure that Tobagonians design, a structure that is free from encroachment from Trinidad and others. It is very disrespectful that in my story and in my land, in my space, that you have somebody else telling me what to do. And I'm saying we can't really pretend that it's not so, and we can't pretend that that is legitimate. We can't really. No Trinidadian can pretend unless he's ignorant. That's what I'm saying. Unless he doesn't know the world, doesn't understand. You have a lot of ignorance down there, to be quite honest with you, and even in Tobago here, because the way we grew up and believing that this is normal. So it is normal. In fact, when I just began, a guy in my workplace told me that they will charge me for sedition. Yeah, just that's how deep the darkness was. So that it's normal and okay for somebody else to make law for me. Imagine Tobagonians we cannot even make our own land legal in Tobago. It used to be 34-2, and then it moved now to 39-2. They don't really regard us. And further to answer the question, right? In terms of the
So you are telling us right now,
yeah,
because you are opening up eyes, you're shutting down some ears, you're opening up some air, you're developing some minds, and we really getting a spiritual hit when it comes to when you come on this show and you speak. Now, I usually speak mainly like you, but I do not have the kind of evidence with dates and time like you. That's why I want you here. Like, take for instance, we were 34, you said.
yes.
Or 36. How much we were?
Well, Trinidad had 34.
34. And
then
we were the
had 2.
36. Now 3 more went on. No increase for Tobago.
No, five more went on. So it used to be 34-2.
Oh, so it's 40. What?
We moved to 39-2. We used to have a 36 chamber. And
yes.
It's a lesser number before, and Tobago had 1 seat. I think it was 28 or something like that. And Tobago had 1 seat. And as I said earlier on, I think I might have said it in this program, 1 seat clearly could not form a government of Tobago. So they did not regard Tobagonians
when they started anything.
Yeah. So remember, Tobago has a history. Tobago has a history where there was complete government in Tobago. So Tobagonians would have been under that, right? And we will always look back at that. So that, whereas you have Trinidad growing up into their government, but even at that time, in the 19th century, 18th century, when Tobago had its own government. Tobago was constitutionally more advanced than Trinidad. When the government of Tobago actually closed down, Tobago was more advanced constitutionally. Tobago was considered to be colony, and for all intents and purposes, Tobago was an independent country. They say colony because Britain colonized it, but for the people like you and me, it is our homeland, and therefore our homeland is our country. That's the meaning of homeland. That's the meaning of country.
How come that was not taught?
Country means your homeland.
In high school?
Well, all these things, and the fact of the matter, Tobago history has never been taught in primary school, in schools, generally speaking. So that who are you really growing up? If you are not being taught yourself who you are, then who is your education system representing? You're actually being, if you don't know yourself, because education begins with self-knowledge, with a knowledge of yourself. One of these great writers, can't remember the name, said that education begins with the self and then ends abroad. Because you first must know yourself. So we don't know who we are, we don't know the truth, we don't know what we are.
Dr. Duke is coming in.
Yeah,
I wanted to come in because I was taught this. I learned this stuff. So there must have been a small time in Tobago's educational curriculum where this was taught. I mean, we were taught about the first capital being in Studley Park. We were taught about the seat of government moving from Studley Park to Scarborough. We were taught about the
Plymouth?
Regional legislature. Yeah, but we were taught this. I learned this before common entrance. And so this would be late 80s, early 90s. That would be under when Mr. He ultimately became chairman for a short while.
Denoon?
Denoon, yeah, that would be when Denoon was school superintendent. And so I don't know who is capable of looking into Tobago's educational curriculum history, but it was taught at one point. And I'm curious now to know when it was introduced. Was it introduced because of the election of 1986 and Robinson becoming prime minister? Was it introduced, because that would have been 6 years after the House of Assembly was formed, right? So the House of Assembly was formed in 1980. He then left as chairman of the Tobago House of Assembly when they ran and actually won and formed the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Certainly from that, he then enacted certain things to give Tobago more autonomy in terms of, Allison Smart is saying screen frozen, but it's not. Allison, it's your internet. If you could look into your internet, it's not the program. And, we all saw what he did, right? So he brought the expansion for the airport, the ports that could actually...
The harbor.
The harbor that could actually house bigger boats. And certainly, I would know, I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. There was a very distinct curriculum that really contained a lot of Tobago history, including the story of Sandy and all that stuff. Sandy the slave and all that stuff was taught to us in school. And so, I think I love to see if teachers from that era remember that particular curriculum, and let's figure out where it came from and where it ultimately was disbanded. Because I have to be honest, I'm always shocked when I hear people say, I didn't know that, right? Like I was shocked when I saw people commenting when Farley was here back in December, and they were so shocked at all of that stuff. And I was like, so that means they're not being taught that anymore. But it was in curriculum. It was at least from 1988 to 1991, I could say for sure, because I passed common entrance in 1990. And so between 1987 to 1990, I have and I'm not making this up, and I have a very good memory. This stuff was taught. It was taught. So that's all I wanted to come in to say.
But before you go, did you attend high school here?
Yeah, I went to Bishop's High School. It wasn't taught in Bishop's. This was taught in elementary school.
Okay. What elementary school
Taught
did you
me at Delford Anglican School.
go? You are very.
And then before the Anglican, I was at Belle Garden, but I left Belle Garden in the beginning of Standard 2. So I did Belle Garden Anglican from, first year through beginning of Standard 2.
But let me ask you, if you say that it was part of the curriculum.
It was.
But if you say, because that's history.
Mm-hmm. It was social studies.
Normally.
That wasn't history. That was what?
Social studies. Yeah, they don't teach history in elementary. They teach social studies and language arts. Yeah.
Right.
And we have to know those things. Avenel Hazel is saying that is true. No, it was taught. So the question is, did Tobago's teachers take it upon themselves to teach us that? Or was it
I hear you, but I'd be interested to know who was the author of that book. Because one of the things.
Well, it was teachers. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like a book. This was part of the taught curriculum. So that because we know Tobago's education falls under the purview of the Tobago House of Assembly. So my question is, did the THA direct Tobago's Division of Education at the time to teach Tobago children that? And who authored that curriculum?